A one and a two and a chick-a-boom a chick.
What you're going to hear in today's episode of Remodelers on the Rise is a recording of the Remodelers Show. So many names, Kyle. So confusing. No, it's not. Remodelers on the Rise is our podcast. It's been around for years. The Remodelers Show is something that I'm going to do every day, Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the next 3 weeks. And it's just a fast-moving, touches on a lot of different areas of the business, of your business and life as a remodeler. And what you're about to hear is the maiden voyage, the first episode, the first go-round of the Remodelers Show. So you can watch it live on the Remodelers Community private Facebook group. If you go to remodelerscommunity.com, you can find that. And also on my YouTube channel. It goes live, and you can interact as we go. So enjoy the maiden recording and voyage of the Remodelers Show. Here we go.
This is Brian Sebring with Sebring Design Build in Naperville, Illinois, and this is the Remodeler Show, hosted by the amazingly witty, sometimes funny, yes, sometimes Kyle. Hopefully that didn't hurt your feelings, but always incredibly generous Kyle Hunt.
Thank you. I mean, if nothing else, you've got to be impressed with the technology there. We had applause. We had none other than Brian Sebring from Naperville, Illinois, talking a little kindness/smack about me. And just got a text from Bailey that said there's people waiting on YouTube, which means we might have a few people that are actually watching the maiden voyage of the Remodelers Show. What is this? What is this Remodelers Show? Dan Ballman, who is a friend and colleague of mine, started the Designers Show. And we were talking a couple weeks ago, and he said, Kyle, you should do something like this. And it intrigued me, and I was pretty interested. And then somehow I went from that idea of doing a weekly show to I was working on the yard right after I got done talking with Dan, and I thought, I'm going to do a daily show. 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. And I'm going to do it for the next 3 weeks. And hopefully you kind of enjoy what we have going here. I've always been kind of intrigued by like Dave Ramsey's show or Jim Rome or Dan Patrick, like that daily radio type show has always been something that I've enjoyed. Gary Vaynerchuk talks about content creation. And one of the things he talks about is pillar content. And what pillar content is something that you create similar to the Remodeler Show. That's kind of a 30-minute, a little longer form. And within that, you're able to cut and splice and pull little clips out, which then becomes additional micro content is what he calls it. So there's several things that kind of were working in my mind that said, you know what, let's give this a shot. So here we are. Cool. So interact. I'm going to let Bailey kind of man the comments a little bit. I got a good morning watching from SoCal. Happy Monday, love. Okay. So looks like the technology is working. All right. So I've also figured out why radio hosts have a producer, because there's like several here.
It's time for the One Word Open.
We had a little voiceover person make little clips. All right. So the One Word Open. What is the One Word Open? The One Word Open is something that you, Mr. and Mrs. Remodeler, can use when you're meeting with your team. So you can use it in a lot of different settings. I like to start a meeting, especially if there's 4, 5, 6 people around. Maybe it's an early morning meeting. Maybe it's a once a week meeting you have, by saying, all right, let's start with a one word open. And the one word open is just, what is one word that is on your mind? What comes to mind when I say, give me one word on how you're kind of feeling right now? And what it inevitably does is it gives you kind of a pulse of the room. You know, you'll hear good. You'll hear stressed. You'll hear tired. You'll hear interested. You'll hear these different words, and also don't let them use the same word. Everybody's got to use a different word. And it gives you a pulse of the room. Sometimes I'll say, ooh, hey, Mike, tell me a little bit more about that, you know, if I'm leading a meeting. But a lot of times it just gives you a nice pulse. So that's kind of a little idea. Might be a takeaway from today's maiden voyage of the Remodeler Show. But my one word today is new. That's mine. If I were to expand on that a little bit, it's new. So trying something new. A lot of people have been talking, asking questions related to what does the business look like? What does marketing look like post-corona? What is going to change? What's going to be different? And I think we're all kind of trying to figure that out, and we're going to continue to work towards that. But one thing I do know is to continue to test and try new things, new formats, new ways of marketing your business. So there's my one word open. I also have a quote of the day. Quote of the day. The quote of the day is from none other than the great Walt Disney. And it's very short, it's very succinct, and it is, everyone needs deadlines. I saw this years ago when we were down at Disney World in Florida, as Disney was sucking the money right out of my back pocket, sucking it out. We were walking around with the family, my wife and our 4 kids, and there was an attraction that was being built. And right outside that construction site was a quote from Walt Disney. It wasn't some inspiring, quote from a movie. It said this: everyone needs deadlines. And I think that's a good reminder. My son Thomas yesterday, he's been really into basketball, and it broke his heart because he realized after he went to the outdoor school basketball hoop, he's like, man, Dad, that felt really tall. Felt taller than our basketball hoop at home. And then he measured our hoop at home, and it actually, what he thought was 10 feet was actually 9.5 feet, which broke his heart because he's been adjusting it. I can dunk at 9 feet. I can dunk at this. So it broke his heart. But what he said yesterday, he goes, Dad, keep dropping me off at Maltby School. I'm going to work by my birthday to have a similar shooting percentage on the school gym basketball hoop as I do at home. He has a deadline for it. He has a bit of a SMART goal, and I got to teach him what a SMART goal was, which maybe we'll talk about that later. Or you can write in the comments, Kyle, tell me more about SMART goals. But it ties back to this. Everyone needs deadlines. So if you have something you're working on in business, in life, please attach a deadline to it. We all work better off of that.
It's time for today's Marketing Minute.
Ooh, today's Marketing Minute. Maybe we can have a little applause with that one. I mean, I'm guessing all of you people are commenting about how amazing the audio stuff is. Busy, good afternoon. What's up, Kyle? Cool. So one thing to note as I look at the comments real quick, StreamYard is the program I'm using for this. For some reason, if you're on Facebook and using Facebook, unless you have gone to click the link that might pop up that says StreamYard.com/Facebook, I can't see who's posting, the name of the person posting. Rhonda, you must have clicked it because you have a Facebook comment and it shows it. So if you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, you can just give them permission, then I can see your name. But to whoever wrote, what's up, Kyle? What's up to you as well? All right. Marketing Minute is what the voiceover audio person said. Marketing Minute for today's Remodelers Show is just going to focus on the definition of marketing. Marketing is getting someone who has a need to know, like, and trust you. Marketing is getting someone who has a need to know, like, and trust you. I think if you lined up 100 marketing people and said, give me the definition of marketing, you'd hear all kinds of answers. I have found that definition has really simplified and made it more understood of what marketing is. So when you think about your marketing, you think about when you get a review on Google. Okay, that's part of marketing. That really is emphasizing probably the trust part of that, right? You're getting a little bit of a third-party endorsement, maybe a little bit also of like, depending on what they write. When you share and create a page on your website that shares your story, why you started your business, why you care about what you do, why you love what you do, that's going to probably hit a little bit on the know and the like. I'm going to get to know you a little bit more, and just based on what you write and hearing your story, I'm going to like it. I'm going to like you a little bit more. When you create video, I think that can hit on all three: know, like, and trust. People are going to be able to get a feel for your personality. They're going to get a feel for your expertise, your sense of humor, that you know what you're talking about. So when you look at all the different ways that you can market your business, keep that definition in mind, and it's helpful to kind of have that at the ready. Marketing is getting someone as a need, somebody who is going to be doing kitchen remodeling, has a need for a kitchen remodel, to know, like, and trust you. So there's today's Marketing Minute. Okay. The screen now says live comment check. So this is my opportunity to pause here. So if you're on Facebook and you haven't clicked that link, if you could just maybe put your, like whoever wrote like, hey, Kyle, just put maybe a dash and put your name behind that. That would be good. And now would be also a good time. If you have any questions, you know, Kyle, I've been meaning to ask you this. I've been wanting to ask you this or that. Now would be a good time to do that. But I'm seeing a lot of hellos. Thank you for dialing in. We got 15 people watching this between Facebook and YouTube. That's exciting. And we're going to keep cruising along. There's the link, by the way, at the bottom, StreamYard.com/Facebook. And then you can click that and we'll be able to see who's leaving a comment.
Let's get some insight from a coaching call.
Let's get some insight from a coaching call, the man said. All right, cool. So the coaching call that I'm pulling from here, most of you may or may not know that the majority of my working time is doing one-on-one meetings with remodelers. A lot of my work is one-on-one coaching. So I thought this would be a fun, nice segment of the show, is to just think through recent coaching calls I've had and share a little bit of insight from them. And the person that came to mind, well, I didn't have a lot to choose from last week because we were down in Elk Creek, Virginia at the sheep farm. So I had some meetings last week, but it was a pretty light week. But I was thinking about a call that I had with one of my clients in Wisconsin on Friday. His name's Troy. And Troy has been going through kind of some ups and downs, but a little bit more up here at the start of the year, where he turned one of his installers, one of his trade people, into more of a project management role. Somebody that can handle the scheduling, somebody that can handle the ordering, somebody that can line up the trades, line up the subs, make sure that the materials are there, and also be the liaison and the point person with communicating with clients. He was to the point where he's going, Kyle, I can't keep doing everything. I can't be salesperson / project manager / running the business. It's too many hats. He went through an extremely stressful last half of the year until we got a person in place that can assist him with it. Got it in place. It's been going well. He's been feeling the reducing of stress. But a couple things happened where they lost a couple of their guys on the field, and his project manager now over the last several weeks has needed to be out in the field. And the Troy I was talking to on Friday sounded like the Troy from last year, where he was over his head, too much stress, too much going on. And I think the insight that I wanted to share here is what Troy needed to hear was, Troy, what's happened is not your fault. You know, the people that actually a tragic story of what happened to two of his key trade people that I don't want to go into right now, or else I might tear up and cry. But everything that's happened was nothing that he was doing from a management standpoint. And I was there to remind him, hey, you're going through this right now. It's all hands on deck. You're recruiting hard to find somebody new. It's going to get better. I was hearing somebody that was just feeling defeated. Here we go again. I thought I fixed this, and here I am back at square one. And he needed to be reminded that there's still a plan in place. He's going to execute a plan to get back to where he was, and it's going to improve again. And I think in business owners need to be reminded of those things sometimes. Or if you're in the middle of a problem that you seem to be recurring, you need to put a plan together like Troy and I did to help him alleviate that. But also realize that if it slips back, if something's where it goes back, does not mean that you failed. That does not mean that you're back to square one. It means, okay, let's revisit the plan. Let's figure out what we need to do, and let's execute. So that was a little bit of insight from a coaching call here recently. Oh, what am I hearing? I'm hearing some, wow, you guys must have really liked that one. Thank you. Thank you so much. The next one on the list for the show today.
AKA, Ask Kyle Anything.
It's
time for your questions.
It is, sir. Ask Kyle anything. The voiceover stuff, if you go to Fiverr, FIVR.com, there are so many people out there, whether it's design or video editing or audio voiceover like that. There are so many people out there that help you with these quirky little things like that. So if you've never been there, you should check it out. All right. So this is the Ask Kyle Anything, but I'm not seeing any questions from our 17 viewers right now. Does anybody have a question? We'll sit here just for a few moments and see if there's any questions that pop up. Okay. Also give you guys a little bit of insight into this. We've got a little bit of an outline, kind of what I wanted to share, each different category. We've got a nice little microphone here to help with the audio. We've got this little app here where we've uploaded all the different audios, and when I push it,
AKA,
boom,
ask Kyle anything. It's time for your questions.
it just plays. So it gives you a little behind the scenes as we're not getting any specific questions. So we're gonna keep on chugging along. Bailey, if you could comment or shoot me a note. How are we doing so far? All the technology's working? Good? All right. Too shy. Why don't you ask us a question? Okay, Ernie, I will work to do that as we move on through. We're going to our next category of the show.
It's time for a reminder to help you improve your sales process.
Okay, so this is talking about the sales process. If you're kind of noticing, we're kind of going around the horn a little bit. Different categories, different areas of your remodeling business. We talked a little bit about marketing. You got this. These are, okay. Hang on, Bailey texted me. First contact, phone call, coaching. Okay, we might get back to that here in a second. So we hit on marketing, we hit on some different categories, and I wanted to do just a little bit of a tip of some coaching related to the sales process. The sales process, because if you don't sell anything, ain't nothing going to happen in your business. So related to the sales process, what I have for you today and what I want you to work on is giving the gift of a pause. A pause is a gift to the person that you're talking to. It's also not very normal or natural for a lot of people. But if you want to be a better communicator, if you want to get what you're saying clearly articulated to the person that's hearing it, if you actually want them to hear it, you have to slow down, and you also have to work and practice on how to give a pause. What you'll find is as you practice this, and maybe you're sharing a factoid, maybe you're sharing something related to the proposal you're putting together, maybe you're sharing something related to the design. When you do the pause right, what you get the other person to do is you'll see them go like this. They'll nod their head. They actually heard you. They actually understand what you're saying. I'm somebody that talks pretty fast. I can just boom, 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 boom. And for a lot of people, it's going to be hard for them to keep up, let alone what do the studies show, how much of what we say, how much of it actually is remembered or how much of it actually do we hear. So that's just something that I'd like for you guys to work on. It's feedback, and it's something that a lot of people, when they start to implement it and they start to get better at it, they realize, wow, that's a really helpful thing in the sales process. Wow, that's a really helpful thing as I manage my team. Wow, that's a really helpful thing as I interact with my spouse or my kids. Give your listener the gift of a pause. There you go. The gift of a pause. Okay. All right, we're going to scoot back to the comments here shortly. But this next thing kind of ties in with what I just said.
Life is more than just remodeling.
It is.
Let's get some thoughts for life outside of work.
I mean, his voice is kind of obnoxious, but it's voiceover. Add some spice to the show. So one of the things that I do very often in my coaching, I've been doing this for 12 years, working with remodelers, is I tend to take conversation beyond just business to life. If you were to say, Kyle, tell me about some of the successes you've had with some of your clients over the years, I think a lot of people might be like, well, point me to growth in the business, growth and profitability. And I have stories like that. But my best stories, my favorite stories, the ones that mean the most to me are the ones where by fixing things in the business, it allowed the remodeler to have less stress, which directly affected their ability to be a better spouse or a better mother or father. That to me, why do I do what I do, is to help people, yes, organize their business better so that not only are they more profitable and better remodelers, but it helps them be a better all-around person. So this outside the business, I'm like, okay, what's kind of going to be the structure for this little 30-minute Remodeler show? I can't help but get something outside the business. So what comes to my mind for today is kind of tied in with what I just shared of giving the gift of a pause. And let's add on to that of just slowing down a little bit right now. Watching a couple weeks ago, watching that George Floyd video, anger in my, get off his, why is that guy not moving? His knee, what? Just anger. Okay. And if you've watched it, you've probably had similar feelings. Since that time, it has gotten very political. It has gotten very, all kinds of noise, right? Noise from everywhere. There's protests, there's reasonable people, there's over the top people. Now there's riots and there's peaceful protests and there's this and there's that and there's noise coming from all different directions. So this outside the business, it has been on my heart and my mind over the last couple of weeks. And I guess the thing that I would say is, what does it look like for you and me with you to have more empathy? The definition of empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. The ability to understand and share the feelings of another. That's what empathy is. That's what it means to be empathetic. Yet me, yet maybe you, yet so many of us, when somebody's talking to us, we are thinking about what we want to say in response. When we read some kind of article, we have perhaps a narrative that we like to fit into, or we like to jump to conclusions before we actually really understand or research further or seek to understand further. What does it look like for us to be more empathetic? It is a hard thing to do for humans in general, let alone in a society that is working very hard from very many different angles to divide us up and to push us apart. So that's some real talk, and hopefully also just some practical aspects. I'm a very practical coach. I'm a very practical person. Yes, it's chaotic out there. My encouragement for you, my exhortation, if you will, is for us, me with you, to be more empathetic today. How can I seek to understand more and share the feelings of somebody else walking through life maybe in a different way than I have or that I am right now? So there's my 2 cents on that. That might be, that topic in that area of conversation might be this week's outside of work. It might come up more often than not.
Here's a little thing to implement today.
Oh, a little thing to implement today. Let me go back to the comments. It's a great tip. I need to learn when to pause. Good. All right. The people are commenting. The people are listening. We're at the 21-minute mark. Let's keep cruising. A little thing. Running a successful remodeling business is not about finding one silver bullet, one magic bullet. It is a combination of doing a lot of little things well. Okay? Running a successful remodeling business is not about finding the magic bullet. If I just did this one thing, everything will fall into place. It is about it's a combination of a lot of little things. Something I talk about often in my coaching, and if you guys have followed me for any amount of time, you've probably heard this kind of theme come up. So the little thing that I would encourage you of this week is to talk to your field team, whether that is your in-house team, whether that is your trade partners. I don't call them subcontractors because they're not sub anything. They're trade partners. Sounds a little better, right? To talk to your team and say, maybe it's a text that you send out. Hey, what is some little thing that we've done over the last 2 weeks on a job that just really stood out, that was kind of over the top, as far as service goes? That was a little thing that we did to wow our clients or service for building their project. Make your team actually think about that. Set that as an example. Are you the type of business that when you see Mrs. Smith pull in with a whole car full of groceries and one of your guys is out in the garage or out there, does he instinctively say, you know what, at our business, I'm going to go over there, I'm going to help her carry some stuff in? When they pull in and the trash man has already been there and the trash bin is at the end of the road, do they instinctively, because we care about little things, we care about the experience that the client does, we go above and beyond, do they instinctively go down and pull that trash bin in? It's a little thing, but it all adds up. So that would be maybe the direction of little things that I would point you to today, which is encourage, coach, teach, set an expectation for your team in the field to excel at the little things. What was so funny about that? I thought that was good. I thought that was really good. This is one that's called Swag of the Day. I'll step over here to grab it. I thought of this as I was walking through my office earlier. It's called the Swag of the Day. This is from Alan Archuleta with Archuleta Builders out east. Alan sent me this lovely Archuleta Builders hat. So Swag of the Day, what that is code for I like to get stuff from my clients and from my community of remodelers. And if you go to remodelyourmarketing.com and you scroll down to the bottom, you're going to see the address of my office. And maybe you're going to send me something. Swag of the Day from Alan Archuleta. Alan, I haven't known him for too long. He's pretty active in the NHB, but he signed up for the Remodel Your Sales Process course here recently. So I've been getting to know him through that. That is the Swag of the Day. All right, let's look at the comments. You'll need to practice empathy. You'll need a pause to practice empathy. Love the thoughts. Yeah, right. I when I was talking about the pause, and then when I was thinking about that, I had those two things kind of in different areas of the lineup today, but I just thought one builds on the next. Ernie says I need to learn when to pause. Yeah, and that's practice, right? Again, it doesn't come natural. It still doesn't come natural to me. Where I heard it and learned it is when I went to a public speaking course called Heroic Public Speaking with Michael Port out in Philadelphia a few years ago. And it was just a huge takeaway that I had that I'm still working on using and doing. First contact phone call coaching. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Any keys to prospecting for new help in this time? John, I'll share one thought that I've been sharing here recently is it's a good time perhaps to be recruiting. There's a lot of upheaval. There's a lot of people kind of questioning, wow, the business I'm working for maybe isn't as strong as I thought, or whatever the case might be. You're going to put together a job description. I would encourage you, John, to pull out your iPhone and create like a 1, maybe 2 minute video that says, hey, John McDougall here, JMC Development. We are looking for a kick butt, experienced, excellent lead carpenter to join our team. We've got a team of 7 carpenters out in the field, 3 people here in the office. We've been in business for 25 years, and we're growing. And we're looking for somebody who's looking for a business that is going to support them, that has a great work environment, that has excellent benefits, and that cares about their team. John, you create some type of video that kind of highlights on what's in it for them, and you post that on Facebook. That's going to get shared way more than whatever regular job description you create. It's also something, if you do have job postings out there, put that link to that video right at the top of your job posting. It's going to be different. They're going to get a little bit of a feel for who you are, and it's going to stand out. So that would be my item there. All right. And then Tate said, I need to ask more open-ended questions. That's good. That's something you can practice and get better at. Cool. Thank you for the introduction, my friends. I think this got an audio here.
Wondering what Kyle actually does? Here's how he can help.
What does he actually do? So I'm just going to highlight something that I do, which this is a postcard. It says, instead of not staying in touch with your past remodeling clients, how about a done-for-you email newsletter that you approve and send within minutes to all of your previous clients and prospects? It's called Remodelers Autopilot. One of the things that I do is I offer this program called Remodelers Autopilot. And it is an affordable, you go to remodelersautopilot.com as a matter of fact. It is a very affordable way for you to stay in touch with your most valuable marketing asset, which is your previous clients. Turnkey, you can customize it, but professional battling related content you get every single month. You select it. If you want to tweak or add it, you click submit, and we take care of sending it out for you. You're consistently staying in touch with your previous clients. It also has the 6 social media posts that you can select and that will schedule for you throughout the month. Remodelersautopilot.com. Okay. Ooh, this is pretty good.
It's the 2-minute warning.
It really is the 2-minute warning. We're going to keep this to a tight 30 minutes. I'd love for you to reach out to me, whether it's a Facebook message or a quick email or shoot me a text if you got my info. Love your feedback kind of on the format of this maiden voyage of the Remodelers Show. This 2-minute warning, what I really want to hear is, what did I write down for that? What did we learn today? What did we learn today, people? What did we learn today? Bailey, I expect you to put something in the old chat box since you're dialing in. But for everybody that is here live or that you're listening to the recording, What did you learn today? And I'll share a few things that I learned. Reminded of the pause and the importance of that. I think John's thought of how do I prospect for new help at this time is similar to what I'm doing with the show. I'm testing out this show. I'm trying this out. It's a different format. Probably tomorrow I'll have some tweaks to it. I do this for a few weeks and I'm going to get better at it, more comfortable with it, know how to promote it differently, format it differently. Until you start doing and trying, it's hard to iterate and improve it. So that what John, the advice I gave you, John, of testing that out, you may create that video and be like, I just don't like it. But eventually you're going to get better at it, improve it. And it's going to be something that I think is going to be an effective way for you to recruit better. The need for empathy, such a good reminder. Yeah, the whole idea of a gift to the person you're talking to, that kind of works both ways. And right now, again, we could talk for hours if we had level heads and we wanted to create an environment where we just talk about everything that's going on in our country right now. This probably, maybe there is a place in my network to do that, and I'll probably be incorporating it a little bit because it's on my heart. But that thought of we all need to be more empathetic. Stop rushing to judgment. Stop rushing to labeling people, putting them in categories, making a narrative based on one post or one comment. We've got to be empathetic if we're going to improve as a country. Send Kyle swag. I'm telling you, there is swag of the day as part of the Remodelers Show. You, like Alan Archuleta, can be featured. There we go. Great idea for new prospect help. Cool. Awesome. That was fun. It is 12:31 and we are done. I probably should have some kind of catchy tag at the end. I will work on that. But tune in. We're going to do this all week. This week, next week, and the following week, 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Remodelers Show. Thank you for coming along on the maiden voyage. See ya.